Joining us live this morning, Dr. Woody Wilson, Caddo Parish Administrator. Dr. Woody, how you been? Thank you for coming on.
How about you?
Hello, Dr. Woody. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
Yes. Just fine, loud and clear. You've been, good heavens, man, you've been Caddo Administrator for a while. This is not your first rodeo, so to speak. Has this been the toughest week of all?
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
true.
Okay. I went off on you yesterday. I got to say I'm sorry because I know you're busy.
Yes, ma'am. Why'd you go off on me? I thought we were good friends.
We're buds. We are buds, but I thought you were ignoring me. I thought you were dissing me, and I don't like to get dissed.
Oh, brother.
Hey, so, ma'am, I'm up to my neck in alligators.
Well, let's talk about the alligators if you got a minute.
Or, I didn't know alligator were a breed of dog. But, like I said, has this been the toughest week? What's the latest? What's going on?
Well, actually, when the incident, we had an unfortunate incident that occurred day before yesterday, and we immediately suspended our Director Harris, pending the outcome of the investigation. We met with the investigators yesterday, and we had the investigation underway. And whatever the investigation yields as evidential, we will more likely call a pre-disciplinary hearing and go from there.
Now, it was suspended with pay. Is that sort of the rule, or did you think about suspending him without pay, or did you not have a choice in the matter?
That's the rule.
Okay. Who is
It's either determined innocence or guilt after investigation. You have to suspend with pay.
Who have you hired to do the investigation, and how much is that going to cost?
Actually, I'm not at liberty to tell you that right now. Because we went through our labor lawyer that we typically use. He recommended a person to do this, a third party out of the area, and we didn't want to bias the process. And certainly, Aaron, I had the media call the lady. The person who's doing the investigation don't want to be called by the media. She wants to be able to do her job uninterrupted.
Well, so what kind of investigator is this? I mean, is it a private investigative firm?
She had investigated. She's an HR person. She had investigated many issues like this before. She came highly recommended by one of the local law firms that we use to do personnel issues, and she has quite a bit of experience.
If you can't tell us who it is, can you tell us what it's going to run?
Yeah, how much?
Actually, I don't know. Yeah, she works on an hourly basis, and I think her fee is $100 an hour, and she will most expeditiously do this case. And I don't think it's going to be that much. But more importantly, we want to make sure we follow every rule and procedure according to law that we can because the sensitivity of this.
Do you anticipate that you, Dr. Woody Wilson, will be interviewed by this woman?
Yes, sir. I will be interviewed
by her. Can you tell us what you're going to tell her?
Tell her the truth.
Okay.
Well, tell us what's the truth.
Well, sir, I certainly don't, obviously some material was posted on our webpage, and it was quite offensive in nature. So that's the extent, but I would certainly don't want to prejudice the process by getting in and talking about it in the media. I need to give my comments to her. So, but that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to be honest and truthful with it and go from there.
Is she just investigating this Facebook incident, or are there other things with animal control in the past that you've asked her to look at?
She's been hired just to investigate this issue, but I don't know where her work will take her. So she has no limits, but we started there.
In the absence with the suspension of Mr. Harris, who's in charge of animal control right now? What kind of experience do they have? Can you give us sort of who's flying the boat? Mr.
Chuck Wilson is flying the aircraft right now, and he's been an employee at the animal shelter for about 8 years, serving as an ACO. Animal control officer, going up to a shelter manager, and then he was promoted to the assistant director. And so he's been there 8 years, and he's stepping in to run the facility.
Dr. Woody Wilson, Caddo Administrator, there is a rally Monday at
ma'am.
Government Plaza. They're calling for your head and Mr. Harris's head. Your response and your reaction to that, what's happening?
Well, I think it's premature to say the least that we will not be forthright in what we're doing. And certainly, Aaron, in the past, I know leadership is a tough position, and I know that comes with the job. But I think we'll do everything in decent and in order, and certainly We have not, from the administration, I have not failed to act. I've looked at every situation, past or present, and made sure everything was done right. And certainly, if anybody wants to talk about the merits of any case, a situation that had occurred recently in the past, I certainly will talk about that, with the exception of the ongoing investigation. Okay?
Right.
And leadership job, I make tough decisions every day. And certainly, I think I've done a yeoman's job in my position. And certainly, I put my record up against anybody. And certainly, I've tried to do the best job I could for the citizens of Caddo Parish. And I'm confident that I have done that.
Mr. Harris has caused a lot of turmoil in our community on several fronts. We can go back to different cases. Why not, and I know this is personnel, but why not cut your losses and move on? Answer why is he so important to Caddo Parish?
Well, ma'am, Aaron, I've been here at the parish for 14 years. We've had about 5 directors. We've had 4 directors and 1 interim director in that 14-year span. That job, the animal services job, you deal with a lot of highly passionate people, and we all love animals, and I understand that. And no matter what you do in that job down there, sometimes you're in a no-win situation, even if you just follow the rules and state law. And that's just the nature of that job. And for example, our prior director, Mr. Matt Pepper, when we did a nationwide job search, before we hired these individuals, we had 3 community groups, animal groups working with us, and 3 staff members. We did a panel interview, and if you recall, I selected Mr. Matt Pepper out of Michigan. Mr. Matt Pepper stayed here about a year and a half, and if you follow Matt's career, Matt's on his 4th job in that same period of time. That job down there is a pressure cooker job, because no matter what you do, if you do right, you're not going to please everyone. And we don't have a no-kill shelter, and I think the community desires that. The euthanization numbers are always at the precipice of our discussions. No one loves that. It's a national problem, and certainly the parish commission has spent a lot of money trying to, for example, put in spay and neutering in place. And we, in the last 7 years, we spent about $400,000, and we now have a practice of 100% spay and neuter of every animal that come out of our shelter. But
Dr. Wilson, pardon me, we're up against the clock. We've got about 30 seconds.
Yes, sir.
If it were totally, if this decision were in your lap, would Mr. Harris be back on the job?
Well, certainly, I want to rush to judgment, but what we're dealing with is a clear violation of our policy, and we had to go from there.
Dr. Woody Wilson, Caddo Parish Administrator, thank you so much for getting back to us. I know it's been a busy week.
Oh, yes, ma'am. And I look forward to talking to you the next time.